What is your favorite anime?
Mine's Skrillex.
Skrillex.
I'm so distanced from human sensibilities and stuff.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
もちろんだ.
Put your tray tables up and your seat in the full upright position, because this is the Flight Plan, the official podcast of Big Guy for You Scanlations, Japan's #1 Bane posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Aiden, as we bant about all the anime, all the manga, and all the scanlation content you know and love. What are we talking about today, Tom?
Today we are talking about different manga sites. I call them streaming sites, and uploading manga, because even though there's not a whole lot to it, I noticed that we kind of skipped that step during our somewhat tutorial series kind of things.
So I know you're like technically right that it is streaming. I just have like a viscerally reaction like that it's wrong to call it streaming when it's not like video. Anime streaming, yeah, but like
that's why I say it like that, because
to
it
annoy
is
me.
Yes. Well, and not just you, but you know, all of my friends and really anybody sensible feels the same way.
Excellent. Yeah, well, I thought you had more than that.
No.
You just stopped very abruptly there. So why don't...
No, that was the end of a sentence. It's called a period.
It didn't have the enunciation in the... It didn't have your normal uptick at the end.
Oh, I don't up talk. Don't you dare. I'll fight you. Come catch these hands.
Oh, well, this is staying in. So I know you said
some of it.
Yeah. I know you said you had some top of the show notes to go over.
Yeah. I don't know how well known it is, but I listen to a lot of podcasts. I consume maybe like 16 hours of podcasts a day. Is
that accurate, or is that some hyperbole?
Well, I listen to at minimum 2 times speed, depending on the podcast. Some of them are up to 3 times speed, and I listen all at work, so that's 16 hours right there. 8 times 2. When I'm cooking dinner, I'll put some on. I'm a monster. So anyway, as such, I often will run out of stuff to listen to, and I need to find more. So I was thinking, maybe I'll check out the competition. I'll see what other like scanlation or manga kind of podcasts there are. So I hit up a nameless search engine who doesn't sponsor us, so they don't get a name boost.
Dogpile.
Yeah. And
was that even a search engine, or was that just like an indexer? Yeah. I guess that's what a search engine
I don't know the difference.
Anyway, you were on the pile of dogs.
Anyway, I couldn't find anything. Well, I did kind of find one thing. So edit out the part where I said
I couldn't find anything. Yeah.
We looked at the data, and what we found was that there was one podcast I could find that is no longer ongoing. It was like us, 2 average Joes, except these were average Janes, and they were paid translators, like for licensed mangas. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It was like a bizarre world thing.
Where it's gender swapped, pay swapped, like employment swapped.
I'm employed, just not in the manga industry, to be clear. I think actually, if I could find more similar things, I think it would be a cool episode if we did related podcast kind of competition type thing, because I'm pretty confident that we stack up. That's all I'm going to say right now. The point of this little anecdote here, I'm going to transition this into the comments corner, because I found a comment on Reddit, the reddit.com, the homepage of the internet, as they call it. There was a guy, he made a thread saying something like, I'm paraphrasing, Big Guy 4U's The Flight Plan is the best podcast around. I'm hyperbolizing as well. I am deeply infatuated with both of the hosts. Despite probably being a male, because he's online. I can't think of any other outlandish praise. But anyway, he was saying, are there any podcasts similar? So I assume that you're listening. I'm not going to dox you right now, because you're not posting like in the comments, so I don't know if you want to be doxed or not. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll do an episode on that. If you're interested to get a jump, the one that I was listening to, that other podcast was, I think it's Translator Tea Time, something of that nature.
Very exciting. It's basically going to be translator blood sports. We're going to have to fight to the death with these people. I'm going to get a shovel, and I'll start digging the shallow graves for our competition.
I would like that, but like I said, they've retired from the podcasting game. And
they saw us coming. We popped up, and they're just like, oh, we have to retroactively stop years ago.
Well, I think it was, I don't know, it was either 1 or 2 years ago, so whatever. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think we are the only one right now, which is kind of sad, because I want to listen to other similar content, perhaps even be inspired by topic ideas from other podcasters.
Well, then what's fantastic is that we maintain our stranglehold on the first position of in the world Scanlation podcast.
Oh yeah, we're undisputed number one. I guess we've kind of lost the opportunity now for a nice clean segue, but the idea was, since that was a comment that I was responding to, we could segue into, I almost said segue. Well, I should have said segue. We should segue back into the comments corner.
That's such an awful segue, but that's what our passengers have come to know and love. Like that's our thing.
You can take that out because it was so bad. I haven't hit the flow point yet of talking today.
You have to hit.
I've only talked for like 5 minutes in this entire day.
We should have done. See, this is why we need to do a pre-show.
Anyway,
like, he's been a shut-in all day. He doesn't go outside, so this is our first human interaction in the past couple of days.
Other than text, that's basically true.
So that's a good enough segue as anything, and to go into the comments corner. So these are the comments on our YouTube channel, YouTube/BigGuy4U, or you can just YouTube the Flight Plan podcast and find us there. We're the guys with the cool avatar. Anyway,
but by the way, speaking of the YouTube, if you're a podcast only listener, like an RSS feed subscriber, I would politely request that you subscribe on the YouTube just to see that number tick up, because it's pretty cool. To see numbers increase.
There's YouTube exclusive content. There's clips.
True.
And we even have something that's new, and which turns into the comments corner. But I believe we did post the flight school episode last week.
Yeah, we shilled that a few times on here.
Yeah, well, to rapturous praise. It was fantastic.
I think I'm going to record another one on Labor Day Monday, and that will be from 0 to maybe 90% of an entire scanlation process of a 6-page chapter. So I think that'll be kind of cool.
That could be very interesting. And so we actually got a bunch of comments on the flight school video. We got one from our buddy FF who says, "This is unironically interesting." And Nikki replies to that, "My thoughts exactly." And Nikki goes on to post that says, "I'm not going to lie. This is actually interesting. Do more!" Exclamation mark.
I don't like the implications of these comments. How surprising you guys are putting out content that's watchable.
It's absolutely baffling. They're like, "Wow, this is actually good." Like, what? Like,
I didn't subscribe for good content. What is this?
Exactly. We have a comment on last week's episode from Carlos, who says, "We be waifu posting, boys. Poppy from League of Legends is best girl. Fight me."
I'll fight you, dude. League of Legends does not have a best girl, or let me phrase it this way: of all the girls in League of Legends, their best girl status would not extend outside of that IP, and I will fight you.
Maybe, I don't know, but I replied dim short stacks, and he replied short stacks plus cute fang equals god tier. I'm right on board with the fang.
Oh, I didn't know she had a fang. That's interesting.
I don't know.
I remember
it depends on like the fan art that you see. I don't know if that is canonical.
The brief time that I played League of Legends, because all my friends were really big into it, so I tried to get into it. I couldn't though. But I played, what was his name, Lee Sen? No, wait, no. That's the one everyone hated.
Master
That's
Yi.
the blind guy. Yeah, Master Yi. That's what it was.
With
Because
the
of
5
some
red
meme
sodas.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Ken Ashcore song, Master Yi, Dunk Master Yi.
Yeah, Dunk Master Yi. That was the build. You would fight the rude dudes in the jungle.
And drink the 5 red sodas.
And careful, it's the dogs. It's like 2 wolves or something. That's a good video.
You accidentally segued into another comment from Carlos, who said, "See, I can't pronounce Japanese names, but it's Narasia is the best waifu in JoJo. The only people who like Iggy are furries. So, you guys might be fighting."
Hold on. A, I was joking about Iggy. Let me defend my honor there. Was that a serious opinion? B, is it Naranchia, I believe is his name?
I don't know,
Part
maybe.
5? That's a dude, my guy.
Is it? Are you sure? Dude, because I
didn't even know this, but apparently he's like, people like fan art him as a trap. I had no idea anybody could have even had that impression.
See, okay, so I don't know anything about JoJo. I didn't know the character, so I Googled it, and the first thing that popped up was a girl. I think it was a girl cosplaying, and I replied with that image. I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, me not knowing anything.
Is it NARANCIA? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
All right, well,
dude.
I don't know. We'll see.
My Part 5 knowledge is rusty, but I'm pretty sure that's the guy Aerosmith. He has like a Hey Arnold skirt looking thing. But other than that, he's very dude-like from my memory.
I don't know. You'll have to look at this this cosplay and tell me what you think later on.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
We had somebody going through. We had Charlie Saint back reading the backlog of some of the episodes. So for their Nico Knees video, he says you talked about falling into the abyss, and he said, on this day, the good Scanlator soul was cast into the waifu abyss. Rest in peace. R.I.P. in peace, good Scanlator. Press F to pay your expects. F.
It's true, and it might get worse for me. Pray for me. Recently, I've been playing a ROM hack of Gen 2 Pokemon called Toho-mon. So
that's gotta be a whole episode.
I'm not waifuing anything, and I don't know anything about Toho other than this mod and just a couple. It could get worse for me.
On that fat knee video, we also had a comment from Devin who said, wait, what? People like fat knees? How well, you learn a new fetish every day.
I think that's like only a deviant art kind of thing. I think half the deviant art fetishes are like, they're trying to like see how far they can push it and get people to still believe that.
No, this guy's real. This guy's real. There's a DeviantArt username called Big Knee Lover, and
see, that's fake.
He's got no, dude, because he's got a blog that goes back years. This is a long con.
That's like that one DeviantArt guy he's like a furry, which
with the crystals.
DeviantArt, so obviously no, you'd have to remind me of that. But the guy who draws like the same characters.
Yeah.
They all look like an oval kind of shape.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to like throw.
We're gonna have to do
it or something.
We're gonna have to do a fan art episode where we critique DeviantArt. Write that one down. That's a good one.
I'll write it down, but I don't know what format we'll take.
It's technically manga because it's cartoon drawings emulating anime style.
I mean, what is manga but Japanese cartoons? And these are just actual cartoons, so it's the more pure form of manga.
Mongolian basket weaving forum. Anyway, we got one more from Devin on the Who's the Best Fortnite Waifu, which is the title I named the post show.
Yeah, total Zoomer clickbait. I know.
It was great.
I thought to myself, we never even talked about Fortnite.
It was one sentence in there. Anyway, Devin says, never be ashamed of your waifus. How do you pronounce the fire? Is it Tharja? Tharja and Toga, who's the psycho girl or the Yander girl from Boku no Pico. Yeah. And I said he's got good taste, my man, because those are two good waifus.
Yeah, those are definitely more your speed than mine.
And I think that about wraps up. We had some great comments this week. That's great.
Wow, it's very, very rare, and
the best passengers.
I have one more top of the show kind of thing to get into before we get into the meat and potatoes.
One more pre-flight checklist.
And that is it's a call to action, a request, if you will. We have one more chapter after this week of Sword Girl, and after that there's nothing in the big guy docket except for the monthly Antarctica Girls. So I'm looking for a new IP to Scanlate. If you have any suggestions, shoot them our way, definitely. My rough criteria is maybe 1 to 2 volumes, maybe 12 to 20 chapters. Ideally, maybe like 4 girls in there. I want to do a Waifu Wars episode, and we don't have enough girls in the big guy IPs yet. I need to boost those numbers up. Let's see. I guess those are the main criteria there. So if anything comes to mind, holler at us. I'll see what we can do.
Well, now it looks like we are cleared for takeoff into our main topic. I'm just.
Wait, should I say this next thing too? I was thinking of a I don't know. We haven't discussed this idea yet, so you could cut this out of the podcast if.
All right. Well, let's do it. We're doing a live stream, so this is it.
I'm thinking I want to do this thing called the biggest guy of the week, where we have some kind of ongoing contest type thing, and like we'll give you a shout out maybe on the podcast and or on the end pages of the mangas, like a link to your social media or whatever you want to promote, maybe like a line or two of comment by you. And I think like the contest would be advertise our stuff somewhere.
Nice.
I don't know.
Whoever does the most to get the flight plan name out there gets their own personal recognition. It's like affiliate marketing.
Yeah. And
so we also.
The only idea I had in mind, because I listen to so much audio content, a lot of it is like YouTube streams, and I was thinking spend like $5 to super chat someone to read off like an ad for the podcast. I don't know. That's the only idea I had, but you can get creative.
and for those people that might be interested in, we get thousands of people to see our chapters. So if you want your name shouted out in front of thousands of fellow weeaboos, that would be a good way to do it. All you got to do is, I don't know, like tattoo the flight plan onto your forehead.
Yeah, I see. The rules are very nebulous and
on purpose.
If you do actually feel like entering, you might want to message us somehow to make sure that we know that you're entering.
It's like, oh man, I'm gonna crash this plane with no survivors. In the name, in the name of the flight, it's like, oh god, nothing violent.
Illegal.
We don't condone violence. This is a Christian podcast. We respect women, all that stuff. Like, let's, yeah.
Keep it legal, keep it Christian.
There was that thing with Sam Hyde where he was gonna pay like $5,000 to like whoever like does like Project Mayhem level terrorism to promote world peace. Do you remember that?
I thought it was to get Hillary's hair, or was that something else?
No, that was I can't remember what it is, but he's offered multiple bounties for a lot of different things, which is just fantastic. He's like chaotic good.
But yeah, I don't know. That's a working plan kind of thing. Just to kind of put that out in the ether. Just get your brain juices flowing. Maybe see if you're interested.
Well, now that we're talking about getting up into the air, into the ether, we're now at cruising altitude and can talk about. Yeah, I love these flight puns or metaphors for stages of the show.
Oh yeah, they're excellent.
Yeah, I don't appreciate your sarcasm. I'll shoot you before I throw you out the plane.
I mean, most of them were my idea, so I'm throwing
all
glass
the ones
houses from under my rock.
All the ones in this episode have been me so far.
True.
Yeah, pure OC.
The ones are mine, though.
Yeah. The original.
Anyway,
the name is yours. That's it.
We've belabored it enough. What are we talking about today? You jump into it.
All right, so we're talking about like manga streaming sites. Now, if you're old school elitist like I used to pretend to be, you're like, oh, I only get pure high quality torrent of my manga chapters from IRC. Okay. I don't actually know anybody who ever actually did that, because there's no like, at least early on, maybe there was a reason to, but now there's absolutely no reason to. You can get high quality scans on what Tom would call streaming sites, even though, see, there's no good word for it. You're kind of right in that sense. There's no good.
Just embrace it.
Yeah, so we're just reading our manga online at like aggregate sites. Like we're talking about like Manga Fox, Manga here, Kiss Manga. We got all the dexes, all the manga dexes, all the kisses, all the things like that. There's like 4. It's like a Kiss empire actually, because they've got Kiss Anime, Kiss Manga, Kiss
Cartoon, right?
Oh yeah. So they've got a ton of different things.
Yeah.
Just taking a breath.
I don't know how these sites don't get shut down, honestly.
Well, I mean, a lot of them do, and a lot of the more big ones, like Manga Fox, will not hold licensed ones. Like, you'll go to the page for Naruto, and it's like, oh, like, most of them do not carry the big 3, or what's left of the big 3, or whoever the big 3 is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still hard to find, like, One Piece chapters. I mean, hard to find, you have to go, like, to, like, the 4th result on Google, which is just... which is just more than
read
normal.
OnePieceOnline.biz.
Yeah.
Like no, it's like www4 dot something. Have you ever seen URLs like that?
I mean, I've seen all different types of things like that, and
I don't even know what those are. How can you have a non www, and how does it play nicely with everything else?
I don't know. Yeah,
it's beyond me.
That's beyond. I used to know all the TCP protocols and things like that. I know I just did a protocol thing, but it's all it is what it is. I guess the easiest way to get started, we get to all settle in for our in-flight movie as I get to tell you a story. My growing up in the weeboo wild west of the internet. I don't remember where I started reading manga, but I remember the first one that I do remember is Manga Fox, and I liked that one because it was the first thing that popped up when you googled Naruto manga online or something like that, and that's pretty much how it just started. And I was like, oh, I'll go to that. I liked the color lime green at the time, which is their thing.
It was dark as well, wasn't it? Like a dark skin.
I can't remember. I think now it has I haven't been to it in so long. I think now you can toggle it with like most sites. You can toggle a night mode or anything like that. That's the mark of a good readability site, because you don't want something blasting your eyes with like bright white lights and backgrounds when you're trying to read.
I've never gotten into dark sites though, to be fair. Like I don't know what it is about them. They just seem like they're trying to be a 90s goth kid who thinks he's so edgy and like
an
wears
Angel
a
Fire
fedora
site.
and yeah. So I don't know. I've never been able to get into dark skins. So I I do appreciate it when they have the toggle option.
Eventually, Manga Fox stopped carrying all the ones that I wanted to read because they get licensed, and I got fed up with that. So the ones that I wanted to read in Google would come up with mangahere.com, which I actually really liked because it had comments, but they're in a special way. They call them tsukihimis, which are comments that are just plastered right on the manga. Somebody will go, wow, and it'll show you exactly what part of the manga they thought was wow. It was very interesting, and I wish more sites did that because I haven't found one that does the same thing.
Yeah, it's a really cool system. Tsukomi is what it is, not Tsukihimi, just in case anyone was listening and confused.
That's the ongoing meme, is that I can't pronounce anything Japanese except maybe...
No, I know. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just clarifying.
But the thing that really drove me away from manga here later on, you can't do full page, like a long page manga. And I really like that because I don't want to keep clicking things, and you could just scroll down instead of clicking, and it's actually better for, I think it's better for the internet because I can wait. It just takes 10 seconds for the whole manga to load, and I don't have to wait 10 seconds for each page to load if I'm doing page by page. So, I mean, it's just quicker to me, and I'm a speed reader, so I just put my mouse on and I just, spin that thing and we're good to go. Just read it as good as I am.
Is Manga here still active? Do you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think they still are. I don't know what how much traffic they get. And truth be told, I haven't been there so long that maybe they do have like a long page form now, but I'm not entirely sure.
That was the one thing I was hoping that you would research and that I did not research. I think that the Tsukomi feature is, I think I've said it before, it's like the coolest thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, it actually is really great.
It's kind of a shame because I thought the site was down, like gone forever, but I really don't know. Maybe I'll just look it up real quick.
Well, while you look it up, I'll tell you about my exciting transition into Kiss Manga, which is the one I went to next, precisely because it had the full long page spread. That was really the only reason, and I never saw anything that said, this is licensed, so we can't show it to you. And then I basically hung out on Kiss Manga, and that's where I'd get my feed, and I still go there to see they have on the front page, like, newest manga's up. Every once in a while, I'll go through there and click and see what's there. I have a lot of bookmarks that are still on Kiss Manga, and that's great. It doesn't work on mobile that well because it's full of like ads and stuff. On your browser, if you don't have ad block, which you absolutely should have ad block even on our videos because we don't run ads anyway, but yeah, what's awesome is
pesky ad block on our videos.
Yeah, make sure you have ad block on at all times on all websites. It's fine on desktop, but when you go onto mobile, Kiss Manga is not that great. It'll redirect you to like spam sites and things like that, and nobody wants that.
I hate it when stuff does that, when websites do that. You hit back and then it sends you back forward.
Oh, it's the worst.
Some sites are unusable on mobile because of that.
Yeah.
And I've actually taken to reading manga on my phone.
Yeah, I actually have two recently.
Which is kind of weird.
I've got unlimited data. I used to read it
I mean, I do it like at home even.
Yeah.
Like on Wi-Fi.
Well, what used to be fantastic for me is I had a tablet, I had an iPad, and they had an app on there. I think it was like Manga Reader app, which was great at the time because it's aggregated from a bunch of different sites. You could even get RAWs on it if you wanted to.
Whoa.
And you could bookmark them, and then you just click on My Favorites, and you get to see like updated on all your favorites. It was fantastic. It was a great presentation, works great on a tablet. Eventually, I knew they were going to do this. At the end of every chapter, there was an ad like flipping through it if you didn't have the pro version. And I was like, I know someday they're going to put ads in between the chapters. And what do you know, like the day after
in between pages within a single chapter? Oh, man.
Yeah. And like the day after they had an update, I was thinking that, and boom, it was there. And it was just unusable. And I stopped using my tablet for anything. So, I stopped reading from there anyway. But I'm sure there might be a good solution for that later on.
I used to do all my manga reading on my tablet too. I would download it though and just like throw it in because they were all like PNG. So I just threw them in the Images app. It was kind of a chore to sync in terms of presentation, just like the size and the ease of flipping between pages. It was the best option.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Except I wouldn't want to manually add. I used to like do that, but that's so annoying. And I can't do that on my phone now. I have an Android phone now, and it's not, I don't think it's Android or whatever it is, but some way that it's formatted. They always put the highest number of the thing first. So like it'll start with the last number and then work its way back, and I'm like, I'm not even dealing with this. I'm gonna stream it somewhere.
Do you mean where it's like 10, 1, 11, 12, that kind of thing?
I mean, sometimes it's like that, but then sometimes it's 12, 11, 10, 9, 8.
Oh yeah. Well, wait, that's fine then if it's just reverse order.
Yeah, but then I got to flip the wrong way, and slideshow doesn't work in that point.
Whatever. I don't know. I've never had a problem with reversed order stuff.
Well, that's because you read in Japanese anyway, so it's going backwards.
No, I mean, you're still scrolling whichever way the image is go, which is normally the English way.
Do the Japanese raw sites have you click on the left side to go that way, to go forward?
I've only used, I think, one Japanese raw site, and it was the vertical layout. But I will tell you that on all of the Japanese store, like ebook stores, when you do the preview read thingy, where it's like, read the first 10 pages for free, they all do left click for next page.
Oh yeah, I wonder if Amazon JP does that. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they do.
Interesting.
Well, Amazon JP uses Kindle for all the previews, and Kindle works like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
well,
it's kind of interesting.
I'll finish up my last thing on Kiss Manga. One of the things I don't like about it is the search function is trash because it doesn't show you the cover of the manga when you search for it, and there's not like
just the name.
Yeah, and you can only search for one tag at a time, and it's in alphabetical order. It's just pure trash. It's trash. Don't bother with the search.
The thing that turned me off of Kiss Manga, I mean, the skin, the dark layout, I could take it or leave it, but what really got me was that I couldn't find a way to upload chapters. And
yeah, it's just for like scraping them and reading them. It's not for
which I don't know, there's some weird ethics to it, kind of like a honor amongst thieves kind of outlaw roguish type of ethics system. I think you should be able to upload to a site. I don't understand how sites only operate through scraping other sites. I feel like that's parasitical, even more so than I guess even scanlation as a concept.
I feel you. I definitely feel like that because you're not paying the thieves that steal for you. You're just collecting the booty, I guess.
Well, no, because like even like I upload on Mangadex, and that like they don't pay me or anything. So
sure, yeah, but they allow you to gather points and like gather prestige and make an account and do well. We'll get into Mangadex in a little bit, but they give you a lot of tools to help out scanlators that want to make money on their own sites.
Oh, I want to know about that.
Yeah, so but you have to remind me because I forgot to put it in my show notes. So you have to remind me.
I'm gonna draw a giant $sign on my my show note.
Well, we'll get to there soon, but before that, the reason that I left Kiss Mangas, I mean, I still read from there, but why I started reading from Mangaka a lot is because they have a much better search function, and I can search for my rom-coms. I can cross out the yaoi tag
and the manhwa.
Yeah, and the shoujo and things like that. I can cross that out, and then while I search for my rom-coms, which is fantastic. Problem is that, which is a problem endemic to the whole medium at large, is that the top things on all the romance are Korean smut comics, and everybody apparently loves those because they have millions of views.
Can't you blacklist like under your preferences?
I mean, sometimes, but then what if you miss, like, what if it also blacklists something accident? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you blacklist something like manhwa, I'm pretty sure there's like maybe one manhwa you would be interested in, and at that point, cut your losses.
Sure, yeah. I think I've read maybe like 1.5 that's even worth. And it's like the ones that I've read, like there's one that I've read, it's called, oh shoot, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like I read like 80 chapters of it.
Gangnam Style, I think.
Yeah, right? Gangnam Style, the rom-com. I read to it, and it's like, oh, if you want to read, like it stopped at a conclusion, and it's like, oh, if you want to read more, go to leezincomics.com and like buy each chapter for like $5. And I was like, nah. So I went and torrented it, and I read it after like looking for it for like 3 days, the next chapter. And
I can kind of appreciate that or respect that model where you give out some for free. Like, it's better than just completely selling everything. Like, if you give out the first ones for free, I think that's kind of...
Well, I mean, that's even more insidious. That's like saying, here's a little bit of drugs, and I'll give you the first couple for free, and then you come back and pay more. I wouldn't be hooked on it if you didn't stop it right at it. Maybe you change the arcs. Maybe you stop it at... If you wanted to be ethical about it, you stop at an arc. You don't stop at a cliffhanger like these guys did.
Okay, I can see that argument.
Yeah, and all of their, like, web comics and line tunes and things like that all have, like, free beginnings of it, but this one went to like 8 chapters. So anyway, it doesn't matter. The point of the story was it wasn't worth it, and nothing got resolved, because that's not necessarily a problem with the Korean comics. It's with everything. There's hardly ever any
entertainment.
Yeah, progress in character relationships or development in anything. So that's just a rant about something else.
Yeah, fair enough. And that, I'll do a tiny mini rant that reminds me of people who have Patreons for video games. Don't you realize as long as you're paying these guys monthly, they're not ever going to finish their game?
Hey, Star Citizen's going to come out, and I'm going to have my $10,000 ship, and it's going to be great. You just watch.
Only $10,000? I thought you were dedicated to the cause.
Oh, no, I need to mortgage my home.
You're a bad Star Citizen.
I know. Shame for shame.
Since we're in a natural in-between part right now, I do want to say that, what was it called? Manga here? The one with Tsukomis?
Yeah.
It still is up and the system still works. Yeah, so that's cool.
Hey, do they have the long page thing?
I don't know. I have to mute myself to click. Start the next website while I figure that out.
So I liked Manga a lot for the search function. I just skip the first 3 chapters anytime I search romance because it's all, I found a cheat ability to rape women is basically each name of each manga from Korea. It's also better on mobile. There's no like garbage ads and things like that. But what's even better is since we started scanlating is Mangadex is pretty cool. It's got a lot of cool things. Full disclosure, we like to roleplay that we're on the board of Mangadex because they listen to our complaints.
You like to roleplay that.
Well, in my LARPing, you're involved, so that's fine.
Okay.
But,
All I know is that I have a different colored name on that site to indicate that I am royalty. Scanlator royalty.
I don't know about that.
I think it means I own a group. I think that's what the color of my name is. I don't know. I looked into it one time.
Well, they used to not have long page displays, but now they recently do, and a lot of other options. So I think if you were going to go someplace, that's the place to go. They're definitely Scanlator focused. They're group focused. They've got forums. They've got comments. The only thing they don't have, which I've never seen anywhere else, is the Tsukahimis.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? They might add it just because it seems like they're constantly adding features and listening feedback. I don't know a whole lot of their politics. This is just my impression. So it could turn out like, you know, they're terrible or something and everyone hates them. But just from what I've seen and the brief interactions I've had, they seem really cool. The thing I really like about it that adds to the feeling of kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of ragtag group of web devs is that they overuse 2 different things, Bootstrap and what do they call it, glyph icons or something. Those 2 are very, very simple, easy things to do when you're like making a website, but they look really good for the effort that is required to set them up.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about, then you'll see it everywhere, but especially on Mangadex. And to me, that gives it a kind of rookie charm. Not just, you know, I'm not saying this like in a bad way or anything, but there's just something about it that is appealing to me.
I think they're from people that were using Potato, however you want to pronounce it, and they came over. They made that when Potato died because they're like, we need some place to, like, we lost when that shut down, the community at large lost a lot of things. They lost places to upload that were going to be high quality, and like people deleted things off their hard drive to host it there and things like that. So we actually lost a lot of stuff.
I actually keep like records of all my stuff, or like backups, you know, the original copies.
I do too. And same with all the YouTube videos. I have the raws and the like raw footage and the edits and everything like that.
Those I probably won't keep just because they eat up so much space.
Oh, then get them on another hard drive because we can't, like, when we get banned from YouTube, right. Like it's gonna be.
All right, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot. Speaking about Potato though, or Batoto, I think it was the actual name. Was that at the time kind of the main site that everyone used? Do you know?
That was the Scanlator focused, like the one that people in the know used. The ones that were the old school people that used to be like elitist, like about
the IRC guys?
Yes. I want to use the word elitist, and it is the correct thing, but I don't think it was anything mean-spirited. It was just like, you don't want to use something trash like Manga Panda that puts the watermarks all over anything. Yeah, purist is a good word.
I forgot about that. I've seen those Manga Panda
and it's hilarious.
Watermarks. They're terrible.
Yeah, well, Manga
that's
Fox
like the
used to do that too.
ifunny.co or anything. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
See,
that is so disgusting to me. Like, it's one thing to profit off of manga with ads, which is in itself kind of weird. We don't profit, but like, I guess we get views on our YouTube, so we profit egotistically. But like, there is something really weird once you start profiting off of other people's scans too. That's like 5 levels abstracted from actual content creation.
What level of usury are you on, my dude?
That's not quite usury, but it's close enough.
Well, it's like making capital out of capital. Yeah, that is like usury to a sense.
Okay, but it's a hot take.
Philosophically, metaphysically usury.
Yeah.
Mangadex is very helpful to places like, I can't remember what the group is called, and I always make sure not to use their site just because it's trash. But there are some groups that want you to go to their website to read so that they can get the views, they can get ads and things like that. The problem with that is their websites aren't great. They're never good, and it takes long to load. Half of them don't work on mobile. You can't do things like that. It's just not a pleasant user experience. What Mangadex allows is for you to schedule a release with a delay. So you're like, I'm going to release this at the same time as on my website, but if you want to read it in 4 days early, you come to the website.
Okay, so I've wondered about that because I every time I upload, I see that option for a delay. And in my mind, I thought that was more like what YouTube does or Facebook or any kind of social media where you can schedule posts and like upload 15 things at once. Say, I want this one today, the next one 3 days from now, the next one 6 days from now, that kind of thing.
Well, it's also that, but what I've seen it used for is most of the time, and you'll also see this sometimes on the end pages and things like that. Please don't rehost this or scrape this for the next week or something like that. Yeah, and it's like obviously only people who care about the group already will be waiting. Some place like Manga Panda is gonna rip it right away and then slap their watermark all over the fight scenes.
Yeah, like that's messed up.
They used to be really awful. Not Mega Panda. I mean, I'm sure they were, but I don't know who it was. But you'd see like these stereotypical fight scenes of like the climactic moments of like Naruto versus Sasuke, and it's like boom, right in the center of the Sharingan is like the logo of the rip manga here, ifunny.com, like 9gag. Oh my god, you just ruined everything. But they knew people wanted avatars out of it or crop something out of it, so they put their watermark slamming all over everything. There's like full page watermarks that are like transparent, like over the whole.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say at least they're transparent, right? But yeah, you just said so. Yeah, watermarks are just the worst in general, except for what are those stock photo sites? Shutterstock.
Yeah,
see, it's funnier. Those are funny.
Well, that's because it's on purpose. Yeah, it's like I saw a really hot take where some guy was like, "This meme is like just made
viral marketing."
Yeah, it's viral marketing for Shutterstock. Like, and it's true.
Yeah, that's a good one. It is because look, we know who they are now. We wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, or like iPhoto, Shutterstock. Well, that's pretty much my those are my hot takes on all the manga streaming sites that I use.
I did a tiny bit of research into paid manga sites.
Oh God, Crunchyroll.
So, and this was kind of by chance because I was listening to that actual manga paid translator podcast. You know, they talked about how some of their stuff is on this site or that site. Something like Crunchyroll, which I didn't know they did manga.
I didn't either.
They're like the big name in anime, as far as I understand. I'm pretty sure that their model is also applied to manga. So like if you have the subscription, then you can just read the manga. And I think that's the way to do it. You know, if you're going to buy and sell manga, I think it's best to do a subscription and then just have access to the whole library, like the Netflix style. I don't know their actual price. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. They do have kind of a modest collection though. It looked like it was maybe 50 or so titles, which compared to what you can get on less above board sites, I mean, that's a drop in the bucket. But they have Space Bros, so I mean, that's really all you need.
I know your favorite thing. If you do want to buy physical manga, the best place to get that is in the link in the description with our affiliate link to Amazon that I'm gonna make after this recording.
Interesting.
And you can use that.
Interesting.
Now, Tom, have you ever bought physical cartoon books?
I have. I've bought 4 physical cartoon books. I collect them as trophies every time I scanlate one. The price of them, since I'm importing, was so high for individual books that I didn't want to admit it. But I was looking at the official prices of some of these mangas that are like, you know, the English licensed ones. It's pretty comparable, actually. How much would a volume of manga run you, an English volume, you think?
Okay, so I know Japan is notorious for like trash tier levels of expensive things. Like you'll buy 3 episodes
on a Blu-ray
of a Blu-ray and it'll be $60. I'm gonna guess.
Oh, at least.
I'm gonna guess.
I think those are $80.
$20 for a no, that can't be right. It's got to be more than that.
I'm talking about an English translated. Like if you were to go to Barnes and Noble, maybe
$44
for a volume of manga.
I don't know how much is the volume. I don't know.
Is that low like 200 or high? Pages, dude.
Is that low or high?
What do you think for 200 pages? $44?
I don't know. Harry Potter costs like $5.
Like 15, right? Yeah. Like, that's insane. So I was looking it up on Yen Press, which is like a manga licensing translation thingy. They don't sell the mangas directly, but they have links to like Amazon or whatever. And the prices ranged from about, I'd say $8 or $9 upwards of, I think 15 was the highest that I saw.
For a volume?
Yeah, and keep in mind a volume's 200 or so pages roughly. So for your normal shonen, which is about, let's say 18, 19 pages every week, that's what, 10 chapters?
Okay, so that's like a normal book is $15. That seems very fair for that.
So, well, for me, I've only bought Japanese manga and mostly like, Kindle or something, the digital version, which is generally like 150 yen cheaper. Those are roughly $5-6 per volume. And that was my mental price. So I have here on amzn.com on one window and amzn.jp on another the same volume of My Hero Academy 14 in English. So the American price is $7.40. That seems more reasonable, right?
That's pretty
about
fair.
what you might expect. Yeah. But the Japanese one is $3.74 pre-shipping, to be fair. That's half the price. Now, I will grant you that it's older in Japan, so that could contribute, right?
Yeah.
But let's see, shipping is $8.87, so the
It's
total
also-
is like $12.60. So I mean, that is kind of a lot, I think, for a book.
There's two things I think go into that. One, it would be shipping cost would be the thing. Two, publishers in the United States, because
Well,
it costs
that's
money to
what
translate it, and it costs. Yeah, that's what it would be.
That's what it is. Because, well, I wonder actually if some of it's cultural as well. In America, maybe it's more understandable to pay higher prices.
I have no idea.
I mean, that's kind of something that you couldn't even prove. It's just kind of a game theory.
But that's just a theory.
But anyway, it's $7.40 to get something you could pick up in the store right down the street, or $12.60 to get something shipped from halfway across the world. To me, I think those are extremely similar for drastically different items, really.
That sounds like such a bargain. If I were listening right now, I would click that link in the description and then go straight to buy some. Yeah, why not? We just did 20 minutes of talking about different manga prices, so we might as well.
I don't know. It feels kind of slimy, but whatever. I'm slimy if it'll get me like 5 shekels that we would get from like somebody buying one manga.
No, probably would
can
be
you
nothing.
do that for Japanese ones? Because then when I buy my stuff, that's all.
I have no idea. This is
We'll
we're
look into that.
brand new. This we'll label the chapter "How to Sell Out."
Yeah.
But I think that's all we've got for the main flight. I think if you'll put your tray tables up and your seat in the full upright position, we'll begin our descent into the airport.
Yeah. The only other thing was that I said that we were kind of talking about uploading as well, and we did touch on it. But in terms of tutorializing, the only site that I could find when I did my initial research that even allows scanlators to update or upload was MangaDex. So that's the one I recommend.
Yeah, I think MangaDex is probably the best for scanlator focused.
I mean, we're basically Japan's #1 MangaDex podcast at this point.
For the most part, yeah.
Every other episode.
Until somebody comes along and gives us money.
Our MangaDex affiliate link.
Exactly.
I'll go back into the suggest a feature thread and say, hey, where's my kickback?
Exactly.
But
so
yeah, that's it for me now. So we can go into the well, I'll let you say it.
Some people might say it's selling out to put an Amazon link, but who we're gonna sell out to is we're selling out to you guys, the passengers. Because Devin Jackson leaves us a comment and he says, "Do you guys take requests for the new manga to review? If so,
Boy, do we, dude.
I suggest you read S Rank Monster no Behemoth Dakado. After chapter 2, it gets weird. Would love to hear your opinions on it."
See, I didn't know the comment before I read it. You just said, hey, somebody requested this one. Let's do this one for the Manga Minute. Now, see, I kind of would have liked to have known going in that little addendum. It gets weird after chapter 2.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil you on it. And then I said, be sure to tune in for Sunday's episode, and you might just get your wish, winky face. Although I should have put the carrot in his nose.
We should have done something else then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then he replied to me. He said, tips non-existent Fedora. So I knew it. We had to do it. He had already tipped. It's time to go. So this week we are talking about, I'm an S-rank behemoth monster, but I'm living as a knight pet of an elf girl, which is the Japanese text for that is so long I won't torture your ears and try and pronounce Erefufu Musume no Kishi type stuff. It's done by author Genkyoko Nozomi. It's pretty great. It's an elven girl. Aria is an adventurer. A small beast with an adorable face embraces Aria's fruitful chest. What an adjective. She decides to keep it as a pet and names it Tama. At first sight, it's just an average kitty cat, but Aria has yet to notice that Tama is a former knight and that his identity is not a cat, but a young monster of the strongest class, Behemoth.
Now, see, I don't know why I'm such a brainlet, but it took me so long to figure out the actual plot of this, like what kind of creature he was. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out, but because he looks like a level 1 cat, so I thought, oh, he's a level 1 cat, but it says he's an S rank, so then I thought, was he an S rank monster who died and then got reincarnated as a cat? And I said no, because it says he was a knight. Was it confusing to you, or am I just stupid?
Yeah, no, I was confused, but I'm also a speed reader. This is what I think it is. It's like he was a knight in the dungeon, and he died, and he was reincarnated, but his stats were like so high before that he was reincarnated as like elder god tier, but he looks like a cat, and so he kind of starts out.
Well, yeah, so it's an S rank monster species. Like, he is of the genus Behemoth or whatever.
Well, I think it's
he's like a level 1 baby. That's why he's a tiny little cat. That's how I figured it out.
Oh, so do you think he might potentially evolve into something later? Oh,
yeah,
okay. That's
I'm pretty sure they've even mentioned that kind of thing here and there.
Ah, that's a little bit different. See, I thought that Behemoth was just like a ranking, like you would say black belt, but you could be anybody.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so confusing. We're not generally stupid people. Maybe when it comes to manga, we are.
Yeah, I think that's evident after 16 episodes. It starts out in like a little bit of a flashback, and you get to see him crawling through the dungeon, like exploring his new cat body, and he's like, oh, I've got like a fire meow, and he meows and like blows out fire, and he's like killing these elder dragons and things like that, and that's a fun little thing. He starts eating the slime. There's one scene he's like, I'm gonna go tackle this S rank snake monster, and it's just like the adorable little cat face, you know, like the eyes and the 3 if you were to type it out, but he's just like he's like just cutely gnawing on a snake, like it's just like a cute little like a pomp type thing, and I thought that was great. It's
a cute little character, definitely.
Yeah, I like it. So what do you think of the manga so far? How far did you read into it?
Well, I finished it because I'm caught up, which is what, 5 or 6 chapters. There's not much to it yet. Well, we should probably explain the brief thing. So like, there's like this busty elf girl, she's like the main character, and she finds the cat, kind of like her familiar pet type of thing. There hasn't been much so far, but the gist of it seems like she is a low-level explorer who explores like the dungeon, and then the cat kind of tags along to help. In his mind, he is her knight, and he needs to protect her and that kind of thing.
Now, the notes that I took on the plot were just capital plot. It's basically comical big tits, like
yeah, definitely.
It's completely exacerbated. I have a theory on that. Japanese women on average have such smaller things that they like fetishize it. It's like I don't understand it. I don't understand why all the Japanese people like draw like giant like mega milks, but it's like the cat is like literally like sitting flat on her chest as she walks around. Like he's like, it's like a kangaroo pouch for him. Yeah, it's like, really, you're gonna be doing that? But
and I feel like he's drawn smaller in those scenes because isn't he bigger than that?
I think he's a kitten. I think he's like a little bit. I think he's probably, the scale might change when he's in those scenarios. Or maybe she's just that big. I feel like her chest changes sizes throughout like whatever the panel is. Yeah, so I feel like it's even getting bigger as the chapters go on.
Well, she's leveling up too.
Yeah, so that's how you mark what level the adventure is.
Let's talk about how this got weird, because I wasn't expecting this. I thought it was just your normal he's not even like a perverted cat, but I mean like slightly, but it's not like he's like that pervert kind of trope,
right?
And so I thought it would just be like semi-perverted cat plus oblivious busty elf, and you know, they would just go on their adventures, have some wacky hijinks. I thought it was that. But then it got weird. There's this barkeep that she was talking to, who's a weird character by himself. He's like a JoJo physique, super ripped dude wearing like some weird thong or something. I don't really remember.
Yeah, with like lipstick on and like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, but even more graphic.
Definitely like that. And so I thought that was weird enough. And then he said, oh, you better watch out. Elemental cats can grow up to be pretty big, and they can mate with humans, or I guess in her case an elf. She's like, oh, that wouldn't be so bad. And then I was like, you know, this is
really
not
makes
what
you
I
think.
expected. Yeah.
See, I think I must be just too intoxicated or surrounded with the Japanese mindset, because I read the chapter 6 and I was like, I thought he said this gets weird, but I didn't see it. I didn't see where it gets weird.
I mean, if you go in not thinking that it will have that bestiality twist.
I think it felt like a one-off line to me. Is that what he's talking about? Did he say after chapter 2?
That probably was chapter 3 that character was introduced. I didn't pay attention to the chronology, but I think it's going to be a developing plot point, because there's a scene where he licks her ear and she moans. I wrote this. This was my first note that I wrote for this manga, and I said, cats have rough tongues. Nobody would moan from that. That would be painful.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
care
it's
how
a
weird and
painful
perverted you
moan.
are. See, I don't think they're going with that angle.
Yeah.
But I think it'll get really weird as that plot point develops. It could go either way. That could be like a pseudo gag that they throw in every once in a while, or that could end up being like the main focus. And I feel like it's going to be the main focus.
Well, it's like after one of the chapters it's like another knight comes through and he challenges her to a fight, and it's like, if I win, you have to be my wife and things like that. And her and the cat, fight. I won't spoil it, but you can probably figure out what happens, who wins, and it's things like that. I really liked chapter 1 when he was going through the dungeon and he was like fighting other monsters and things, and it's like that was really compelling to me, and it reminds me of like that other isekai manga where the guy like reincarnates from a soldier into a spider, but he just spends his whole time in the dungeon. I forget what it's called. It kind of reminded me of that, but this is a better. I don't like spiders, but I do like little kittens, so I was like, hey, this is a pretty interesting thing, and there's also a little elf girl around it as well. I want a little bit more of the dungeon crawling. It seems like a lot of it has been above the dungeon in town drama type, not drama, but like hijinks around town.
I feel like it'll be more like that too as it goes on.
I kind of wanted them to go more on the adventure side and with a little bit more, because it's like a little too ecchi for me, too exaggerated in that part. But it's like really an interesting concept, because it's like it's an adorable cat that's like max level, which is a twist on the normal isekai.
Is it though? Well,
no, it's not, but it is. But that's the level of ingenuity that we've come to know and love from Japanese authors. Yeah.
I do want to be nitpicky though. It's technically not an isekai because he's in the same world.
Is that what it technically means? I mean, I figure
even though it's no, isekai means other world. Tensei is where, which I'm sure you've seen a lot. That's the one where it's like I got reincarnated.
Well, this is based on a novel, so you can tell that it's gonna have a lot of novel feeling, if that makes sense.
I think I do. Yeah. It's something though that definitely lent itself or lends to the impression that it's an isekai is that there are RPG mechanics and that people accept them. Like, oh, I'm level this, I'm level that. I have this move. I just leveled up. But if this is a normal world, that seems out of place.
That's why I don't think it has to be another world to be an isekai. There's a feeling
it literally does, definitionally speaking.
Well, no, I mean, how about literally in the sense of the new term of literally, in the sense that it's figuratively. It's figuratively an isekai, like, because it's. I'm a language
prescriptivist, not descriptivist.
Phenomenologically, an isekai. Spiritually.
Yeah. What kind of adverbs can we abuse?
Metaphysically.
It's adverbally an isekai.
Ooh, excellent. That's a good one. That's the highbrow content that people have come to know and love from the BG for You staff.
Yeah, I had one more note on this. There's a what's the word? A blacksmith character, and of course she's a girl, and she wears it's overalls, right? I think it was, and no shirt underneath it, so you can see like a side boob.
The best.
And at the end of one of the chapters, there's a note, and it says, "Note: Did you see her side boob?" And I thought, all right, I know what kind of scanlation group this is, but then under that note there was translator note. We didn't make this up. The author, this is the author's note. We're not that degenerate. But I had a good chuckle at that.
He's like, hey, did you see the fan art that I put? Like, so if it wasn't obvious enough, he had to write a postscript at the end. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And I like the idea of. Because as like the scanlator, I could picture myself wanting to do something like that, where where I would want to clarify, look, I'm being true to the original text here. This is not my note. Don't judge me.
So this is on Manga Dex. This whole series is up to about 250,000 views. So a lot of people like it. No, it's not.
Yeah. Don't you dare say that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
About 10,000 people have bookmarked it as a favorite and are following.
No, that's like more views than I have total.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. But I actually, if we were gonna do a ranking, it's not bad. I'll probably keep it in. I'll read it when it gets us update. It's not something I'd follow every week, but I'm interested. I want to see where they actually take it. I want to see if he does evolve. I'd be interested to see that. I'd love to read like what's going on 20 chapters from now to see if it's like hijinks in the city. Maybe this is, since we're still only in chapter 6, maybe this is like the beginning thing where we're developing characters. She's a strong-willed elf type thing. They did just in the last panel of the last chapter, they're like, oh, I want to join your party, and it's another little elf girl. Maybe that was the blacksmith.
I thought it was the blacksmith. Yeah,
it could be, but anything like that, and that's more of an archetype I enjoy. So I'm like, hey, maybe we're gonna get our own little cat harem here. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know what ranking system we're doing, but I think that basically explains it. I'm not gonna do it every week.
I'll give it 2 Tama the behemoth cat's testicles out of 4.
Oh yeah, it's like one thing where the elf is holding him upside down, and she's like poking his testicles. Like,
yeah, every scene he has like balls drawn in. It's a weird artistic choice
to draw balls on the cat. Yeah, nobody does that. It's like every once in a while. Sometimes it's like controversial when you draw that little X for a butthole on a cat, and somebody's like, "Was that really necessary?" And this dude's drawing testicles on the cat. Like, I don't. Yeah, so maybe just for this ridiculousness, I'll keep reading. Like, it's funny. This was an interesting request, and thank you, Devin, for that, because this has spawned some interesting discussion on the nature of Japanese web novels.
Yep. I don't know. In a way, it seems like the Manga Minute is just a way to get me to read stuff that I would never read. And
I mean, that's the express purpose of the Manga Minute.
I don't mean to belittle other people's tastes, because it's okay if you like different stuff than I do, but it sure seems like every Manga Minute is a direct conspiracy against me. I don't know.
It's the passengers conspiring with me against you.
How do I know those aren't your alt accounts recommending?
Yeah, every subscription is one of my alt accounts.
Oh, you need to make more then. More subscribers.
We need more. Tell your friends. If you did wanted to tell your friends where you could listen to us, where do you think they could listen to us, Tom?
Oh, that was pretty nice. Very professional. I would say go to the YouTube, since we seem to be promoting that the most. Big Guy, numeral 4, letter U. There's Anchor FM, which is if you just have like an RSS feed, or rather, if you have a podcast app, you just type it in the search bar and you'll find the RSS feed. That's for the podcast. For the mangas, I upload to Mangadex. Gab.ai, user Big Guy, numeral 4, letter U. You could probably message us on any of those platforms, and that's it.
Nice. And yeah, if you want to get your message read live on air, you can leave a comment on the YouTube, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. So far, it seems that we will. But if
you want to be the biggest guy of the week, advertise for us somehow, and then tell us that you did it. And then we'll put your message and your contact info or whatever you want to show.
Something legally.
It's a mutual advertisement kind of thing.
Exactly.
I think that could be a cool idea. I don't know.
I think it would be too. Yeah. If somebody wants to. Also, let us know if you find any other podcasts that are interesting for our episode on competitive podcasting.
Yeah. Sadly, what I think it'll be is that one translator tea time, and then other ones that are translator related but not manga related, and then ones that are manga related but not scanlation related.
I'd also listen to some manga related ones just to see what they're talking about, and I feel like
to get a finger on the pulse, because I don't know anything about the anime and manga community.
We've got a foot in 2 different worlds, but not very deep in either.
Exactly. Yeah. So it would be kind of neat.
We got that Venn diagram, like just in the middle.
The very narrow little circle.
Yeah. Well, thank you for. We're approaching the landing of the airport. Up. What's this? The cabin light is on. The plane. We're losing altitude very quickly. It looks like we're gonna have to crash it. We're gonna have to do an emergency landing. Now, Tom, if you had to predict how many people that we're gonna survive.
It depends on how many people follow the safety procedure.
If you put your tray table up and your seat in the full upright position, you might have a chance. But I'm looking, oh no, at the passengers right now. They did not put their tray tables up, and they did not put their seat in the full upright position. They've been lounging.
Do they have their inflatable vests on, which they can be found under your seat?
Hold on to your seat. It can be used for full table. Oh God, what's this?
This is terrible. We're just gonna crash this podcast with no survivors.